Hi, everyone, and welcome. We are going to be talking about fasted exercise today and understanding how it has such a powerful impact on our bodies and our minds. And information comes from an article by Dr. Jocker's Fasted Exercise, Autophagy, Fat Burning, and Anti-Aging. If you have any questions, feel free to give Dr. Justine a quick text and she'll be happy to answer your questions. I wanted to welcome Dr. Justine here with us. She is the leader here at Justine Blainey Wellness Center, but she is also a passionate warrior for health and for your health and your family's health. And she really believes everyone deserves a healthcare team that focuses not just on the day-to-day, but the prevention, the optimal health, and open communication. Please help me welcome Dr. Justine.
Hello, everybody. We got lots of great news today. This is something that I practice all the time and practicing how to exercise on a fasted state. So we're going to talk about the benefits of it. But upcoming, we have an amazing talk on creating healthy summer salads. We have the comeback workshop and defending your immune system, defending your whole temple, how to build muscles. And what do you do if you have nutritional deficiency? So every week there's something new. If there's a topic you'd like, let us know. We're trying to provide you lots and lots of great information. And I do think this one is a good one. So we're talking about fasting, and that's like getting up and exercising before you eat something. And I got to tell you, I grew up playing hockey as, pasta the night before and a good hearty breakfast. And since then, I've really changed my mind. So we're going to be talking about who is this for, also who this is not for, and what are the benefits, and why would I start now exercising in a fasting state, and what are the benefits. So this information, Dr. Jocker has a lot of wonderful articles, so always check his information out. He is a chiropractor, but has great information on nutrition. So we're going to talk about these fasted exercises and the benefits, including autophagy, which is getting rid of dead cells, burning fat, anti-aging, helping with your insulin so that you're being able to use sugars better, increasing your strength and your growth hormone, losing weight, building muscle. I mean, there are a lot of great benefits. So when you look at this, the benefits, you will see all the benefits on the left-hand side of the screen. We'll talk a little bit about those mitochondria biogenesis coming up. We're going to talk about ketone production and why you want to use ketones versus glucose, sugar. And we're going to also talk about some of the guidelines. You do want to make sure that you're hydrated. This is not for your top elite athletes, your pregnant women, and your young athletes. All right. So it is different for different folks, but it isn't what I grew up with, pasta the night before, that just turns to sugar in your belly, digests very quickly. Ideally, you still want to have a good fast while you're sleeping. And we'll talk about those different types of fasts coming up. When you are in a fasted state, if you go back, we do shorter term exercise. So you see closer to that 30 minutes. You want to have those high proteins and BCAAs. So that's getting your branch amino acids. So that can be in form as a powder to add to your drink. So add to your water. And it usually tastes pretty good, a little bit like Gatorade. I wouldn't do it every single day because, again, it's still not a real food, but it does help for many people for pre-workout and post-workout, just making sure you get a high quality form. So we're going through some guidelines, and then we're going to talk about the benefits. So fasting, number one benefit is looking for an alternative fuel. So instead of using that fast glucose, where I used to think, okay, have a protein bar first thing in the morning and then go for a run or go to work out, you're trying to use those the glycogen. You're trying to use your ketones so you get more into a fasted state. Now, this is not the case if you're going to go out for a half marathon or a 2-hour run. We do need to experiment with how long your exercise program is. But I know that I used to think that you had to eat to get, to do a hard weightlifting exercise. And then I learned that and I'll talk to you more about, I used to fast and often still do on Wednesdays, which means it's a full day, 24 hours of fasting. And that would be my heaviest lifting day. And I was totally able to do it and increase growth with that. So it blew my mind when we went to a camp and they had us do a 24-hour to a 48-hour fast, and we were doing 5 workouts a day, and they were short bursts of 20 to 30 minutes times 5. And I was completely blown away about how successful I could be as long as I was hydrated. So we'll be talking more about that. So as we get into number 1, it does increase fat burning. Ketones are water soluble. They will help go to the brain. They'll help you with energy for that exercise. It will help you deal with food restriction if you're feeling hungry. Restrict your diets. It does help with type 1. Be cautious though with type 1 diabetes. It does help you create those ketones and helps you with mitochondria energy, which are your big powerhouses in your body. And it helps you be fat adapted. So what does that mean? That means your body gets used to using fat rather than quick sugars for energy, and allows you to stay in a better body mass, reducing your risk of um, being obese. All right. So these are some of our goals: helping with weight loss, helping with strength goals, and being fat adapted. Number 2, it helps with mitochondria biogenesis. These are the powerhouses in your body, and you will see with the ketones on the right, there's 3 steps to make that ATP, that energy for your body, versus of glucose, there's 11 steps. So there are more ketones, or more metabolic energy more quickly. There's less free radicals in your body that's damaging cells. So the mitochondria help like little Pac-Mans and eat up all that garbage. That's the autophagy, getting rid of those poor cells and help you create new energy cells. Number 3, with that autophagy, again, that's getting rid of the bad damaged cells, damaged mitochondria. You can see the cycle there on your right. And the benefits of this autophagy is that you're going to get more cell growth. You're going to create those new cells for cleaning up your internal systems so that you're more strong, you're stronger, you're more resilient to chronic stress, chronic inflammation, better able to manage pain and disease. Number 4 is increasing HGH, so that's increasing your growth hormone. So yes, you get to build those muscles. I wore a specific shirt for today. I'll show you as we go to work out. It has that Be Strong muscle woman there. And yes, when you are exercising and fasting state, you can build more muscle, which we build more muscle increases bone density, helps your immune system, helps with collagen. So it helps with achy knees, achy joints. It helps with your hair, your nails. It is going to help stimulate fat burning and reducing inflammation. When you reduce inflammation, you are reducing pain. When we look at this as number 5, this ketone production, so we have 3 types of ketones, and that helps your mitochondria function better. Again, those powerhouses. So that helps prevent chronic disease, chronic buildup of cells. We need to be able to flush out those bad cells. And so the fasting in general, and then fasting exercise, as long as you're doing it in a safe way, will help your body use ketones, which is like healthier energy for your brain and for your joints. Number 6 is helps you be more resilient to stress. And so this is like for your top athletes. You want that little bit of stress before the big game. You want to be slightly excited before that big speech or that big talk because you're on edge a little bit. So when you look at this diagram, if you're bored and you don't have any stress, you're just going through the motions, you're not going to have the highest level of performance. You'll find yourself making a lot of mistakes. But if you get to that eustress, this good stress, you'll see that's when you're energized, you're focused, you have more effort. You're able to do things more effortless. You're able to be faster, better reflexes, better sport performance, energy performance for work. You're better for your family with just that over the edge, a little bit of stress. Now, if you get distress on the other end, that red area, that's what leads to exhaustion, chronic fatigue, burnout, and disease. You're more at risk. So, our goal is to be in that eustress and find that impact, that zone for top performance. And so, learning to do fasted exercise, even for top athletes, maybe it's not as frequently, maybe it's only once a week, but just pushing ourselves to that level to be able to use those ketones and make them attainable. So then if you are running out of that glucose, your body knows how to be fat adapted. Number 7 is, of course, it has anti-aging benefits. It really helps your brain, your memory, your cognition. It helps manage stress. It's going to help your heart rate. It's going to help your blood pressure. It's going to help insulin and leptin, which is going to help with fat increase. It's going to help with those fat cells to get rid of them. And reducing that leptin. It's going to help your liver, your digestion. It's going to help your body increase strength and reduce inflammation. So you'll see on this chart that intermittent fasting has many, many benefits, again, when it's done in a safe way. So there's many different ways to do this intermittent fasting. And if you're the beginner, you do want to start with a simple fast of 12 hours. So that's, for example, eating dinner at 5:30 and not eating between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. So your fasting includes your sleeping time. And the reason for this is if fasting becomes super stressful and you're worried and you're thinking about food all the time, you're going to have a high cortisol response, which then is detrimental and is going to be the opposite of what you want. So if fasting causes a huge amount of stress, then you do want to be able to build up slowly to these higher, harder levels of fasting. So we start with that simple fast. And that's fasting for 12 hours. And then as you get better, then once or twice a week, you go to a 14-hour fast. And that the brunch fast means eating your breakfast a little bit later. And I often will do that. I find it saves a ton of time in the morning. Basically, I'm eating breakfast at lunchtime after my morning shift. So even though I'm up at 4:30 in the morning, I might be eating my breakfast around 11 o'clock after the morning shift, or 11:30. Crescendo fasting is looking at sort of 2 days a week, a harder fast of 16 hours. And that, you remember, you got to get in the mindset for that as you start that area. And as you start to cycle, you might do that 16-hour fast 3 times a week. As you get very, very strong, this is not for everybody because it can increase that stress response. But the strong fast would be 16 to 18 hours. So again, that might mean you're not eating dinner. You're eating a good, solid breakfast and lunch, and you're going to sort of 2 large meals and snacking, but in that shorter period of time of 6 to 8 hours. I do love doing the warrior fast or 1 day fast. I try to do it on my busiest day because that way I don't have to worry about time to eat. And I can get more done on that day. And I know for some people, I'm like, oh my God, I need to eat. I need the energy on my busiest day. But that is just a stinking thinking and poor mindset. And I realized that I actually have more potential and more gas in the tank than I think. So I choose on my heaviest bench press day, back and chest workout day, where I will do the longer intermittent fasting. And now on that warrior fast, you can choose nothing. And then sometimes I'll choose some almonds or a couple egg whites, a little bit of protein through that day, or 1 protein bar. So you're just choosing somewhere in that 400 to 500 calories. So minimal, but also being very aware to increase my fluids and hydration in that day. The warrior fast, you typically are looking at something like that for the warrior fast. You're trying to do it 1 day a week. You don't want to overstress your body for that. And then, so Angela, go ahead to switch those sides. So we talked about the 12-12, the easiest. We talked about the brunch fast. And then if we go to the next one, we have the OMAD fast. And that means for one meal a day. And often I'll switch around with this. Sometimes I just know that it's going to cause me way too much stress on that Wednesday. I know that there's a ton going on. I may have dealt with a difficult situation, a patient that really affected me emotionally. And for me, unfortunately, when I'm emotional, I want to eat. So, instead of creating increased stress, I might switch my day from that warrior fast to an OMAD and have that breakfast, but at lunchtime, and have the one meal at lunch, making sure that it is a healthy meal. This is the key thing, is many people go to intermittent fasting and they choose junk food. This is not an excuse to eat junk food. This is still healthier food in that one meal a day for the OMAD, where you're choosing healthy fats, healthy proteins, and not a ton of carbohydrates during that meal. Some of the important parts is cycling that feast famine, cycling that intermittent fasting. This is going to make sure that you're not getting in that over cortisol sympathetic state where your body is overstressed about it. When we're fasting, that's when we're creating growth and building our muscles. That building reproduction. This is when we're cleansing out and getting rid of the bad cells. When we're that's in the feasting time, when you're eating. When you're fasting, that's when you're getting rid of the bad cells. So let me say that again. When you're feasting, you're getting the growth. And when you're fasting, that's when you're getting rid of those bad cells. You're building your cells and creating reproduction of new cells. This is going to help with anybody who has brain fog, emotional stress, depression, helps with fat burning, building lean muscle, helping with those with PCOS, people who need to help with hormone optimization, to look at these benefits. But definitely talk, if this is difficult, creating stress, talk to your naturopath, talk to your chiropractor, talk to your nutritionist, so you are doing it in a safe way, so you're not creating that increased cortisol response. Now, there's different types of fasting exercises. Again, we start with the beginner level, so you're not overwhelmed, that 12 to 14 hours. And this is light exercise. As you get to the intermittent level, then you're still 14 to 16 hours. But this is when you're doing the HIIT exercise, high intensity interval training, but over a short period of time. Maybe it's 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, or 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off as you get better. And you can also be adding high intensity resistance training. So that's more circuit training, but in a shorter period of time. As you get more advanced, that's when you get sort of those warrior fasts, the OMAD fasts, and you're increasing your higher level of high intensity interval training or resistance training. Again, these are not for your marathoners. This is not for your high level elite athletes, your Olympic athletes, and it's certainly not for children. But it is an opportunity that you can do it once, twice, 3 times a week for those typically in their 20s through even right up into your 80s or 90s. And finding the right type would be a good discussion with your naturopath or your chiropractor. When we look at the benefits of HIIT exercises, high intensity interval training or high intensity resistance training, again, this is going to help you get rid of those bad cells for mycophagy and autophagy. It's going to improve that muscle tissue so that you can get rid of the bad cells and create hypertrophy, which will create those big muscles. It's going to help increase your endorphins, so it's going to increase your moods, help with your circulation, help reduce lymphatics damage. So it's going to improve your lymphatic system, which will basically, it's like getting the garbage man in there and getting the garbage out. It's going to improve your overall energy. Now, it takes a little while to get started, but once you get going, it gets easier and easier, and it just becomes part of your regular routines. When we look at overtraining, be very, very careful of this. This is whether you're fasted or not fasted. There are definite signs. This is when you're constantly sick. So definitely talking to your naturopath, making sure you have your blood work checked to see your hormone levels. You can also do what's called a Dutch test, which gives a higher level of hormone testing, making sure you get quality sleep. But if you're frequently sick, you may want to look, is your vitamin D low? Is your zinc low? Is your iron low? Are you having high levels of inflammatory markers? And you can check all of that with your naturopath. So if you're overtraining, you're getting poor sleep, poor libido, you're gaining weight, even though you're exercising hard and you're feeling like you're hitting plateaus, you're achy all over, you're not getting enough recovery time, moods are dropping, you're not hungry, or you're just overly hungry, your strength seems to be going down, or your performance is going down. We also want to make sure when we're stressed out, overwhelmed, this is the time to go back to the simpler fast, take a break, and then restart. This is time to cycle. So it is very important for that crescendo fasting or alternating so that your body is constantly changing and you're not getting to higher levels of cortisol response. So look at the reasons to reduce your intensity of fasting. That's energy dropping, brain fog going over the limit, increased mood swings, feeling cold, losing hair, having trouble with your skin, heart arrhythmia, so cycling of your heart, menstrual irregularities. So if we have some of these areas coming down, then definitely you want to cycle or go back to a simple fast or the brunch fast and get away from the harder fast. And definitely monitor your blood work, monitor your results with a health professional so you're not overstressing the body as you get to these changes. Again, those who shouldn't fast are young athletes, are high elite Olympic athletes, and pregnant women should not be doing these high levels of fasting. There are many different types of supplements where they're pre-workout, post-workout, areas to help create ketones faster, areas to help with amino acids, areas to help with brain calm, brain fog. To look at some of Dr. Jocker's articles, supplements. We also have supplements on our Max Living site for this, and definitely talk to your naturopath about what's best for you. Now, what does this have to do with fasting? It is an ability to increase performance. It is ability to increase fat burning, to get to the state of using that glycogen and using those ketones. And it can be very powerful when done correctly to build that muscle and help get you into a fat burning state. As a chiropractor, it is super important if you're doing those exercises, though, you don't want a low shoulder, you don't want a high hip. We want to make sure we have that great posture. So our shoulders are level, our hips are level, and from the side, our ear is over our shoulders, is over our hips. So we have that great posture. So we're not strengthening our bodies and causing damage. Remember, the nerves control everything in your body. So the nerves are going to control right to your brain and your energy and your moods and your hormone balance. It's going to control the strength in your arms. It's going to control the strength in your legs. It's going to control your ability to digest and create those ketones. So as a chiropractor, we are specialists in looking into the spine, finding, locating, removing subluxations, those misalignments of the spine. And we'd love to help you, but definitely check a chiropractor near you. Talk to a naturopath near you or an osteopath near you, and you will be able to get the best results for the overall health. We always say test, don't guess. Make sure you have your spinal alignment checked so that your machine is running in top shape. And then, of course, you're putting good fuel in at the appropriate times. So stay tuned with us all the time. Coming up is a healthy salad talk with Dr. Udani. You can now get out gardening, creating some of those healthy lettuces. I know I have some of those growing for myself. We have romaine and spinach salad, as well as regular lettuce salad growing on our deck right now. You can also, we're going to be coming up with our chemical combat, developing and taking care of your temple, dealing with the toxins in our body. That'll be Dr. Udani and myself. How to build more muscle is coming up, and deal with nutritional deficiencies. Something new for you every week. We're here to help you. Share this with a friend. We do this volunteer. It is to help you. Stay connected with us, and please do a review. That is how you can help others. Share this information. Is completely free, Others, check us out by doing a review for our center. We really appreciate it so that we have the opportunity to serve more people. So we're here to help you. Have an awesome night. Stay tuned and see you next week.